Aries. Aries symbol. The moon spends the day in your creative sector, dear Aries, encouraging your desire to enjoy and express yourself. The sun, currently transiting your partnership sector, encourages enjoyment of balancing give and take in your life these days. You often weigh up pros and cons, and you're inclined to want to keep the peace. Venus in your solar chart, however, is finding pleasure in digging deeper into projects and relationships and would rather not keep up appearances if it means ignoring the more profound issues. Today, these bodies form a minor clash, and you can be giving off some mixed signals to others. The signals may be just as messy on the inside. However, the vague discontent you can feel due to all of this is temporary, and from it, you may very well discover new ideas or interests. Taurus. Taurus symbol. Your work and health goals can be challenging to achieve with relationships distracting you today, dear Taurus, with the sun in your work/health sector forming a minor clashing aspect with Venus in your partnership sector. This influence tends to result in indecision or a feeling of imbalance. Watch today for agreeing to something to make a problem go away temporarily. It's tempting, but keep in mind that you're borrowing from your future. Even though your work, health, and habits are strong themes in your life these days, your relationship with any of these things can be complicated today. There may be sidetracking or delays to manage, and you may need to control your reactions to these frustrations. However, the moon spends the day in your solar fourth house, inspiring you to simplify your life and center yourself. Gemini. Gemini symbol. Work and play often don't mesh beautifully, but today, dear Gemini, it can be particularly the case. The sun in your sector of joy clashes with Venus in your work and health sector, magnifying feelings of discontent. Indecision is possible, but it's best to avoid a divided, distracted approach. Instead, aim to put your heart into one and then the other for best results now. Otherwise, you're liable to waste not only time but energy and happiness. It can be hard to say no to others and to things you want now, but this, too, will pass. Aim to cool off before making big decisions since today's energies are tricky in the social or romantic department. It can be challenging to put complete faith into something or someone right now, and probably advisable not to until you have more confidence about the matter. Cancer. Cancer symbol. The moon spends the day in your solar second house, dear Cancer, leaving you craving a simple existence. However, life has a way of complicating the little things now, mainly by pitting your diverging interests against one another. The sun is currently encouraging you to stick with familiar, comfortable faces and places. Venus, on the other hand, is singing an entirely different tune. It's transiting your sector of joy, pleasure, romance, and creativity, stirring you to release some of your inhibitions and share your light with others. While you can manage both rather well on other days, it can leave you divided today. Do your best to strike a compromise, and save the bigger decisions for a more confident day. Leo. The moon spends the day in your sign, dear Leo, and while it can stir feelings of discontent, it's also a time for eventually understanding what you want as your emotions speak loud and clear. However, the sun is forming challenging aspects now, and restlessness is possible. The morning Sun-Venus aspect tends to contrast diverging needs. The sun has been spotlighting your need to reach out, connect, and mingle. On the other hand, Venus is traveling through your home and family sector, and some of your greatest pleasures are simple, comfortable, and familiar. Do your best to divide your time well, which involves going all in with whatever you're doing. Circumstances can almost seem to rile you up or dig up buried frustration, particularly related to intelligence, ideas, and beliefs. Something communicated can get to you. Do your best to learn about why these things are pushing your buttons, as this can bring an emotional release of sorts. Aim to seek emotional refreshment, but in the process, recognize when you've had your fill. Virgo. With the moon in your privacy sector all day, dear Virgo, you can feel the need to pull into yourself or otherwise take a break from the usual. The Sun's minor clashing aspect with Venus early today can nevertheless stir some discontent. The Sun is currently encouraging your attention to your resources and comfort levels, and Venus, as it moves through your communications sector, stimulates a genuine love of branching out, diversifying, trying on new ideas, learning, and connecting. On most days, you can manage both, but today, you may feel a little divided. The tendency can be to overcompensate or overindulge, but do your best to find more creative ways to satisfy your varied needs. Watch for misjudging how much effort or resources a project requires. Avoid defeatist attitudes as much as possible, and work instead on gaining power through self-control. Aim for moderation for best results today. Libra. The moon spends the day in your social sector, encouraging you to prioritize your happiness goals, dear Libra. Early today, the Sun and Venus form a minor challenging aspect, and you could feel that something's missing or just a little off. And, with Venus in your sector of comfort and security, you may be tempted to feed your discontent with things that you think make you happy. Watch for borrowing from your future today, not just with money, but with time and energy. You can be in demand today, but you are not up for heavy thinking or decision-making, and that's just fine for the time being. You might also seesaw between feeling slightly uncomfortable when you're in the spotlight but frustrated if you're overlooked. Look for ways to enjoy yourself without overindulging, or if you need a treat, make it a moderate one since judgment is not stellar under current transits. Scorpio. The Sun in your privacy sector forms a minor challenging aspect to Venus, currently transiting your sign, dear Scorpio. Venus is putting you out there quietly, but still powerfully. You are in demand and getting noticed, which tends to conflict with the drive to lay low. You're creative enough to make everything work, but do watch for a tendency to appease and agree just so you can make a problem go away, as it's likely to be more than you bargained for right now. Watch for guilt eroding your actions, decisions, and relationships now. You might decide to take this opportunity to work through these issues. Sagittarius. The moon spends the day in your sector of spirit and adventure, dear Sagittarius, and you feel more natural, spontaneous, and outgoing. The Sun and Venus are in different signs and houses of your chart, as they often are. It doesn't normally pose a problem, and it might even help you diversify. But today, the Sun and Venus form a challenging relationship, and the different drives seem to clash. The Sun encourages social expression and attention to your happiness goals, while Venus is nudging you to find extra pleasure in spending time to yourself. Today, these needs conflict, leaving you with a fear of missing out if you go in either direction. However, it's a good time to gain some experience or knowledge. Keep your mind stimulated by mixing up the routine in small ways, which can lead to more enthusiasm and positivity. Capricorn. The moon spends the day in your intimacy sector, encouraging you to go within for a healthy dose of introspection, dear Capricorn. The sun has been stirring your ambitions with its transit of your solar 10th house, making you especially aware of your obligations, work, and performance. Today, the sun forms a minor clash with Venus, and with Venus in a sociable area of your solar chart, you can feel divided. This feeling can put you in a state of indecision. Alternatively, you may decide to give whatever you're doing at the moment special attention and compartmentalize, which could save your good humor. Aquarius. The moon spends the day in your partnership sector, dear Aquarius, and you're seeking balance through feedback or a different perspective. Today's Sun-Venus minor challenge can stir some discontent. Venus is stimulating your ambitions these days, and you're finding your work and responsibilities more interesting and satisfying. Planning or mapping out goals is something you enjoy doing. With the sun in a much more carefree area of your solar chart, you can feel very torn. On the one hand, duties call more insistently than usual, and on the other, you're yearning for more life experience or a change of pace. While on most days you can compartmentalize, today you're more likely to feel divided. Aim for a compromise, and watch that you don't rush your choices. Pisces. You more often enjoy pouring your energy into a project or even a person these days, dear Pisces, with the sun's current transit of your intimacy sector. However, another part of you is eager to learn or experience new things and uncomplicate your life. While you can normally make both work, today's Sun-Venus minor challenge can leave you feeling torn between the two. In fact, it can put you in a state of limbo or even lead to overindulgence, perhaps as a means to self-soothe. Be on the lookout for this, but be sure you don't overlook the other opportunities of the day. For example, your powers of observation increase dramatically as the day advances.